This is the October 2023 Texas Mile event. All the mods to the S1K from the last video were finally complete. It is longer and lower, as you can tell, ready for Texas Mile this week. Because of how low it was, I had to adjust my loading practice. Can't just roll up the ramp like I used to. I have to use a car ramp to get up in there. I arrived Thursday and noticed an ugly. While in transit, these things came loose again. Had these canyon dancers on the grips, and that pressure knocked them clip-ons loose again. So now I gotta take that bolt loose and retorque it. Fortunately, it's easy to do here at the track. All right. The only issue that really came out of tech check was they just asked me to tighten my chain a little bit. First thing Friday, I remembered to adjust my shift light points before rolling it to the first place in line, still in the dark. It was super foggy and humid that morning. Good thing I had the skateboard to get my fuel. I was up front, but they let a guy who ran in the original Texas Mile 20 years ago go first, which I was totally cool with that. The bike felt so much better with those swing arm extensions. Not only was it not trying to buck me off like last year, but it felt way more stable just going down the strip too, not near as shaky as last year. The front was staying down, but as expected, the rear tire was spinning at takeoff. Instinctually, I'd feel the slip and pull in the clutch to keep from losing it. I did 178.4 for the warm-up run, then 180.8 and 180.5. It was super hot and muggy. The bike wasn't pulling as strong because it was basically breathing water. And I'd already gotten close enough to a heat stroke at COTA one year, so I knocked off a little early that day to just save it for Saturday. Barron's car welcomed me the next day with the sweet smell of race fuel. It smells like adrenaline. Way better weather, cooler, drier, and even a tailwind. I did 191.3 on the first run. I confirmed with the GoPro footage that I had tacked out that run, which basically meant the bike was strong enough to get all the way to redline in 6th gear and was cutting out. That meant it was time to change the rear sprocket from the 44 tooth down to a 43 tooth so I could get a little bit more top speed out of it, as I'd done all I could with that 44. That also lowered the torque out of the hole, which helped the tire slip, plus I was improving in my launches and able to pin the throttle way faster than last year without worrying about unicycle rides. My high for that day was 192.9, still 0.4 mile an hour less than what I hit 2 years earlier. The stronger tailwind Sunday morning gave me hope that I'd be able to get a little bit more out of it. And the first run I beat the old 193.3 for a new PR of 193.7.
All right, thoughts on that?
Well, my launch was better, but could have been better yet, I think.
Yeah.
But
seemed like you left harder at the line this time.
Yeah, they had it red higher. Then another PR with 194.6, which again tacked out. So I had to take a few more minutes to change from the 43 tooth to the 42 tooth rear sprocket. On the way back from that run, I had to pick up my backpack from security. And I recovered my bag because apparently in this day and age, when you leave a lonely backpack, the authorities take it because they're afraid it's a bomb, so I had to go recover it for them. The next run, I did it right. I had a decent launch. I had a strong tailwind. I shifted well. I tucked tight. And I got a new high for the day, the event, and my Texas Mile career at 198.4 miles an hour in the standing mile.
And it looks like you have your speed record to a 198.4. Congratulations, sir.
Sure, I wanted that 200 in the worst way, so annoyingly close, but just not quite there. But I'm still happy with what the bike did. It's a big deal to pick up 6 miles an hour from my last high, so I did things right, and we all know that tailwind played a huge part in it too. Good time had by all. Only crash I had was on the skateboard, but fortunately no video exists for that. For those who did see it, if you have the film of it, I'd love to have it. It was time to load up the bike and say goodbye to the Fall 23 Texas Mile event. And this is goodbye to the Texas Mile this year. I've been doing this 10 years now. 198.4, definite new high. Pretty happy with that. And I figured I better clean the car before Barron saw it and took the keys away. Skateboard, the luggage, tools, whole bunch of snacks, wrappers, cooler. The best part of any trip is getting this little guy back.
Hey, buddy. Yeah.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel below and let's celebrate turning fuel and air into adrenaline.